Hi, we have seen the basic definition of a computer. So, there's this CPU part which we have discussed, which we called as the central processing unit. So, it typically is a box like structure which has got a processor and memory. Memory is the location where the data points are stored. In the memory, it has got internal memory and a external hard disk. So what's the difference between these two? This is the memory which is used at the time of processing various applications. Hard disk is generally a storage location of various data and data files of the computer. So I'll just write it as data, sorry, data file storage. So any computer contains some components which are visible, which is called as hardware, and another component which is not visible but which the user interacts with the hardware, which is called as software. So again, the software is of two types. One is the software that is used to run the hardware, which is called as system software, and the software that is used by the user to do other activities, which is called as application software. The C programming language can be used to design both system software and application software. Now let's proceed a step towards C programming. How we do that? First, let me get a new screen. So what is this software that we are discussing? System software. System software helps the user interact with the various parts of the computer. So basically the user can interact with the hardware. Why do we interact? To get the desired output. So system software comes in the form of an operating system, which is the core essential thing of a computer. Then we have other form of drivers. As I told you, if you need your mouse external accessory to run on a computer, you will require some kind of software that allows it to coordinate with the computer. Such a software is called as a driver. The OS or operating system is a software which the computer uses to manipulate the inputs that are received from the user. For example, how does an operating system work? Just as a very broad example, an operating system works in this way. User types in a key, for example, on the keyboard. So this keyboard key press activity generates an interrupt. Interrupt is basically an interruption to the electric signal. The operating system keeps on receiving a lot of electric signals continuously. When a key is pressed, an interrupt is generated. So basis the interrupt that is generated, the operating system analyzes the interrupt and gives the appropriate output. For example, on this screen, if I press the letter P, so the interrupt is carried forward to the operating system. depending on the application that is there. For example, if I am using a notepad application, then in such a case the interrupt analyzes that, the operating system analyzes that interrupt and then displays the letter P on the screen with reference to certain size that has been defined by the application in the notepad. Okay, so this is how basically an operating system works. So how do I write this operating system? For that, I have to write that operating system in a language in which the computer understands. So let's see what is the language the computer understands is called. That is called a machine code. So, but machine code is typically nothing but a string of 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, zeros and ones. So how do we code in this language? Yes, it's possible, but it's a very time consuming task. So this machine code, or we can also call it as machine language, we have to find some other language where it's easier for the user to code. Okay, so the differentiation between such languages has been made in terms of a machine being able to understand a low level language and a user being able to understand what the user is being able to write in a simple form is called as a high level language. So there is always a continuum between this high level language and a low level language. This is the regular English or Telugu or Hindi or whatever we speak. This is the strings of zeros and ones which the machine understands. So all programming languages fall somewhere in this continuum. It is said, or not it is said, it's a fact that C falls somewhere towards being a low level language than a high level language. Means the capability of converting a C language code or instruction into a low level language doesn't take much efforts by whatever the conversion is, however the conversion is happening.